Hello, welcome to the West Ham Way YouTube. Myself, Mark Carlaw, and Riley Finch. Riley, one of the topics of the pre-season that's quite big is Vlasic and his future at the club. It does seem to be quite a few question marks over it. I know he's been heavily linked to a move away. I think Torino is the sort of likeliest destination at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd actually say he's probably been quite a shining light probably in our pre-season. And again, I know we've sort of touched on it that, okay, it's only pre-season, doesn't really mean too much. But are we jumping the gun, West Ham, in looking to offload Vlasic? What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, very prematurely. I mean, look at Ben Rama. You know, the difference between his first season and second season at West Ham was literally night and day. And you know, same case with Ben Rama. Vlasic has not had a proper run in this football team, and you know, how can you be making these impacts? How can you be playing well if you're literally just coming off the bench? I mean, I don't think he's a winger. I think he is more of a number 10. However, I feel like he could do a job in this sort of Bowen role, in the sort of like where you know cuts in. I know Declan Rice and a lot of people at the club have said that his shot is unbelievable, and it's something we haven't really seen from him very much. He's more of a kind of pick the ball up deep and just try and drive, which he doesn't seem to do too well. So I'd love to see him more like an attacking side, maybe like in a sort of I think number 10 is kind of where he's most suited to. But I just feel like what is the point of sending him on loan when we're already sort of a bit depleted? Unless Moyes has got, you know, if Lingard came in and we sent him on loan, then I guess it would make a little bit more sense. But considering we're not really going to get anyone in that number 10 spot with Zielinski talks breaking down, I just don't really think it makes any sense. It just makes more sense to me to have him, even as a squad player, even as a cup player, just give him a chance, you know?
I agree. I mean, that's my feeling of it. I feel for him because I don't think he's really been given any chance at the club, like you said. I don't really feel like he's been played in the right position anyway. And as you say, if you're going to get 10 minutes a week or every other week, whatever, what chance really have you got to make an impact and to show what you can do? And then the case is then, you're right. I mean, if they're saying, well, okay, well, we need some players for support, we need some squad players for cup games and to sort of come in if there's injuries and things like that, then really he's kind of a perfect player for that. So what's the point? You're right. Like, what if we're going to get moving on? I mean, the only reason I can understand moving on, exactly like echoing what you said, is that if we bring in somebody else in, if we know someone else is coming in and you think that he's going to be above Vlasic and Vlasic may just say, well, I'm not going to be here then because I'm not going to get a chance. That's fair enough. But that doesn't appear to be the case. So personally, I'd actually quite like to see, you know, for Moyes to stick with him, give him another season, see how we get on, and he could well, you know, if let's just say there's, you know, heaven forbid, there's an injury to Bowen and he gets a run in the team, he could prove to be a pivotal player for us, and you know, I just think we need to give him a little bit more time. That's just my general feeling, unless of course, you know, there's also the worry that maybe he doesn't do it enough in training, and that's where the frustration comes from Moyes. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's odd because he seemed like a Moyes buy. Like, I mean, maybe he's a bit of a panic buy because he was bought on deadline day, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah, it was quite late on. Yeah, and
very
it was
random signing up. I mean, realistically, we should never have got Vlasic in the first place. We just shouldn't. He was not needed. He doesn't fit the system. We should have spent that money on a striker at the time. I don't really know why we bought him, but you know, you've got to look at players as investments sometimes, and you think to yourself, you know, if we sell him on now, even if it's on loan, you know, what are we going to recuperate from that? Maybe like 10 million, 15 million, if that.
That's it. I mean, how much we spend, Riley? Was it like 30, it was 30 million around Mark,
it was with add-ons, I think around 30 million. I think the price was around 27 point something and then some add-ons. But you know, if you think if we give him a run in the side and he starts performing well, you could chuck another 10 million on his price tag. So even if you don't want him at the club, you know, at least if he leaves on a high, we're going to be getting a bit of a recuperation of our money that we actually spent on him. If we sold him right now, we're going to be selling him for absolute pennies, mate. So for me, it just makes sense for all parties to at least give him a shot. You know, if he can't hack it, he can't hack it, and that's fair enough. But you know, players don't just come in a year and absolutely show their best football. I mean, look at Creswell or Bonner. You know, they're showing their best strides, and Antonio as well, showing their best football. You know, 5-6 years into being with the club. So, you know, it all takes time. And I just think, and he's a young player. I think he's only like 23, 24. So he really does need a good sort of run in the side, at the very least, just to get a bit of money on his price tag at the end if we are going to move him on.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really see the need for it. I think, and as I say, I think as well, he's looked pretty good in pre-season. He's come back. He looks fit. He looks hungry. He's playing some good football. You know, I mean, all right, he hasn't set the world alight, but he's looked good. He's, you know, out of a pretty mediocre pre-season, really. You know, he's been one of the players that you'd say actually he's been a decent performer. You just kind of wonder where this is going with him. I mean, it really does sound like it is going the way that he will be departing the club. I think that's going to. I'm guessing it's going to be a deadline day kind of deal. I'm guessing that's the kind of That's what my gut feeling is. I might be completely wrong, but yeah, it'd be a shame to see him go. If we was to let Vlasic go, who's players you consider then would be an ideal replacement? Is anyone in mind straight away? Well, we obviously said about Lingard previously, which obviously never happened. But anyone else you can think of that if they were coming in, you'd be happy to see. You wouldn't mind seeing Vlasic leave.
Man, it's a tough one because I just don't think we need to be spending money on the number 10 role. However, if Vlasic does leave, I back Bowen to stay fit for a season. Don't mark me on that, because if he gets injured, I'm not going to take any responsibility. But I back him to stay fit for a season. Yeah, and he's always got 90 minutes in him. He's got a good track record. I back him to play every single game. Same with Rice. So I feel like a replacement for the number 10 role is more important, because I think Lanzini will be more prone to injuries. But then also I think Benrahma could potentially come into the number 10 role, or even Fornals. I mean, Fornals and Benrahma are more suited to the 10 role than the wing anyway. But so realistically, what I would want to do is bring in someone like Cornet, who could play on the left, and then move Benrahma to the number 10 role. Right. So we have sort of Benrahma playing second fiddle to Lanzini, Cornet playing second fiddle to Fornals, and then Bowen just kind of the solo champion. I think getting Zielinski for 30 million doesn't make sense to me, especially when we should be spending money on a CDM. So there's no one who jumps out at me at the moment that's going to fit that number 10 role. So yeah, I think realistically we should just, we've already got a team of number 10, so stick one of them there.
Well,
and
then maybe you're right. You're totally right. I think it's a position that's overloaded. We don't need to keep adding to it. I think we're pretty strong there. And considering the fact we've got other positions that we are weak at, I mean, left back being prime for me, they need to address very fast. And, Masuaku looks like he's going to be on his way, which I'm quite pleased about, to be honest. I've never really been a fan of, to be honest. I mean, so... Yeah, but for me, I think it's a strange
the left wing spot potentially. I mean, we have tried it in the past, but not properly. We can move him to the left wing spot, and then Benrahma can take the number 10 role. Yeah, I mean, potentially. I mean, the best part of his game has always been going forward. He's got tricks in him. He's got his cross is not great though, which is something I don't like. And our left mid doesn't really tend to actually attack the fullbacks, which is what he would want to do. Yes. So I don't know. It's just a thought, but I don't know. It's really difficult.
It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. I mean, I personally, I'd be gutted. I mean, I'd be sad to see Vlasic go if that's the case. And it doesn't appear to be sort of going that way. I think he's been a decent. When he's come on, he's looked all right. I think he's worked hard, and that's what I want to see. I think we all want to see, don't we, from a player that he does seem to graft and want to do well. So, and you're right. I mean, dare I say? I mean, I'm a real, obviously, like we all are now, very big fans of David Moyes. He's done wonders for the club, and his signings have been very, very good. Is this one that's flopped, would you say, then, for Moyes? Is this a little bit of a mark, you'd say, that one hasn't quite worked out, the Vlasic signing?
Yeah, I mean, it was realistically a panic buy, It's got sort of like a Jordan Hugel kind of price tag around it, that was a bit of a panic buy. Same with Robert Snodgrass as well. So I think maybe he was just kind of pressured into getting a big name player. I don't really know why he did it. We were desperate for a striker. 30 million could have gone, I think that same window he rejected Abraham for around 30 to 40 and then signed Vlasic for 27, which just doesn't make sense. But we've got the player now. We need to work with it. And it just doesn't make sense for him to go.
It's going to be interesting, mate, isn't it? It's going to be interesting. I mean, I know X is going to provide us some updates on Patreon and to see what's going on with that situation. And hopefully we'll get a bit more clearer idea of what's happening. But personally, I'd like the fingers crossed he actually does end up staying. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.